Coming through.
Do you watch any pickleball on TV or YouTube?
Started to.
Good answer. Let's see, here's a test. This is Mr. Steve Nolan of Spring Park Sports Club, right?
Sports Club.
I'm such an asshole. Sorry, Spring Park Sports Club. I'm sorry.
It gets called everything.
I've known you forever, right? And you've been at so many great spots. And anyway, Spring Park Sports Club. See, I'm getting nervous. That's where he's at. Is that in Richardson, right? Richardson Garland area?
Richardson Garland, right on the border.
Steve is a staple with, I would say, and help the DTA grow, the Dallas Tennis Association grow, as well as a little USTA Texas section, probably some junior stuff. And
DPTA, former president, DTA, DPTA.
Yeah.
So, we've been around a long time.
I had Jared on a few weeks back, and he's got so many letters after his name. I just said, what are all those? And they're all certifications. But the DTA is Dallas Tennis Association, which is a nonprofit organization that his wife works for. A great situation with regards to leagues. It's probably similar to Alta, I'd say, with regards to how big it is.
Yes, we're lucky, and that's like why pickleball is going to take off with tennis, with TCD and Metro and USTA and the DTA organizing that. I mean, the amount of tennis has grown exponentially. Now with pickleball going. The same thing's going to happen with pickleball as well.
Well, we'll jump right in, Steve Nolan, my man. When did you get into pickleball?
So, Craig Bell did a thing for the DPTA.
We were there together, weren't we?
About 2015, and I didn't know much, and I'd always kind of shied away from pickleball because of the name. I'm like, I don't really like the name, so I don't know what this is. But when he and David Redding started getting into it after TCD had like that, they had the most people
thing.
play. So they
that.
started playing. Yeah. So when we played, it's like, it's a fun game. So then when I was at Canyon Creek, we did a little bit and had like Charlotte Rivera and a couple of their people over and did some mixers, and people enjoyed it, but then it kind of went away and doing things. But then with COVID, and you see how much this is taking off, and it's just for tennis, if you're going to be in racket sports, if you're going to run a club or facility, pickleball has got to be a part of it. And it's growing. And the best thing about pickleball, it's great for mixers because different levels can play. The matches are quick, which doesn't work for tennis. The tennis mixers, because of all the league tennis, they don't work that well anymore because you're just going to play the same people you always play. But in pickleball, you can meet new people. So then people have an attitude, kind of a more fun attitude.
Yeah, more social.
And, for business, and if you never play, your business is going to invite you to play, your church group, your family, you're going to get invited to Chicken and Pickle, or you're going to get invited to an event. So you might as well at least give it a shot and at least know the rules. And most people give it a shot, end up liking it more than they think or maybe even want to.
Yeah. So would you say at Spring Park, is your clientele similar to what mine's kind of a mix at T-Bar? Here in Dallas, in that we have a good mix of 60, 70-year young people, as well as some late 20s, early 30s people.
No,
that's like the mix.
Yeah, we have the mix, and everyone likes it. It gets kind of portrayed as the old person sport.
Yeah.
You go to pickleball when you get too injured to play tennis. But as you can see when you watch on TV how athletic pickleball can be, and plus with the wiffle ball not bouncing much, it's not for everyone playing. So, give it a shot and go. But it is nice. Like I had a group of 7 ladies come out on Monday, a 4 or 5 lady tennis player, with very advanced, a 4-0 and 5 very limited tennis experience. Wow. But they could all play pretty equally in pickleball and had a great time. If that had been a tennis drill, it would not have been that enjoyable with the levels being so different.
So you're just saying basically one of the key aspects, which there's a lot of them that you like, is that it can balance out the level of play.
Yes.
Everybody can play.
So you can play with your friends. And if you have someone that's played badminton, ping pong, cricket, anything with hand-eye, after an hour they can play. And with golf, that's rare. Yeah. With tennis, it's possible, but still pretty rare. Yeah. With pickleball, the amount of people who can't play after 1 hour, it happens, but it's a low number.
Yeah.
So that's a great. That's why it's going to keep growing.
I would say that one of my big things I tell people is that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and people think pickleball is the exact opposite. Because I know when I first started playing, it was the big bangers. I think people got away from saying that term, big bangers, here in Texas, but that's all it was. And now it's everybody's playing all three zones: the neutral zone, the offensive zone, the defensive zone. You know.
Well, playing like some, Aaron's brother Adam.
Yeah.
He, my brother-in-law. He was a really good college tennis player in Minnesota, and he's playing, money tournaments now.
Wow.
And but he never hits the ball hard. I mean, he's 6'4", aggressive serving volley tennis player.
What's his name again?
Adam Kraft, and he'll be here for that big tournament here in November. I think in Oasis.
Texas Open.
Texas Open. He's going to he'll be here, but. You realize it's absorbing the shock of it. So, you just can't hit the ball. You just can't smack forehands past people in tennis. So it is funny when the tennis players want to come out here and start smacking and someone just kind of looks at the volley and just, okay, thanks.
Hangs it off and they're like off the court. Wow.
So once you play more, you realize there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
At first, it seems like a pretty simple game, and it's simple to learn. I think it's easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep people coming back for more.
So who do you have any pros there at your club, or are you looking for a pro to come do pickleball full time, or what do you have going on there?
Well, it's tricky, and we're balancing it. We're going to start offering pickleball memberships in November because our tennis program is very full, so it's kind of balancing the courts. Yeah. But Peter Hansey's now with us, and Peter's very pro pickleball.
Did he just get there?
Yeah, Peter just came over about 6 weeks ago.
That's great, man.
So he's into it. So we are going to offer more and do more of the mixers like we've done with the other clubs with Curtis. So we're going to do more. It's just a matter of balancing it with courts.
Okay, so the other thing that kind of brings me to this is a good episode we have here today, players and listeners, or everybody. This is kind of an educational, so you could maybe you're out there thinking, hey, I want to do something extra in my spare time. Maybe do pickleball. I know at Green Hill, I do tennis. We have just part-time pros just come out and do an hour and a half, 2 hours juniors a week, and that's it.
Right.
I mean, that's just. I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm just saying that might be an added idea for you people out there listening. Man, just reach out. You got a lot of different places to do it. The PPR. Pickleball Players Registry, and then the IPTPA. Also, there's some stuff at the USPTA. Anyway, just think about it. But anyway, going back to Steve. That's good. You're adding a pickleball membership. That's nice to hear.
But even see it like my son, Connor, who's 18, he's a senior at J.J. Pierce.
Oh, yeah.
Good, varsity tennis player there, but he loves pickleball. Yeah. So he started a pickleball club at Pierce.
Yeah.
He did? So he's
Pierce,
run tournaments at Campbell Green, and you see Churchill, Campbell Green.
Is that another Dallas?
So that's right, at Campbell and Hillcrest.
Yes.
So they took 2 of the tennis courts and made 4 dedicated pickleball courts, and at nights and mornings they're full.
That's great.
So that, once again, that shows you the popularity of the game. That I'm still a big tennis guy.
I know.
But at 9 p.m. at night, you could be at Camel Green and there's 20 people playing pickleball.
Rack your paddle.
There's probably not 20 people playing tennis on the public tennis courts.
No.
So you have to look at it.
Connor runs that, huh? That's kind of cool.
So it's growing.
Father like son.
And even tennis people like it. So I think it's very easy for tennis to get snobbish towards pickleball. And there's still people against it. And I just tell people that you might as well play. You see the numbers, you see how fast it's growing. And I like when people play pickleball, I try to get them to play tennis. Mm-hmm. If people play tennis, we try to get them to play a little pickleball. If you're going to have a membership somewhere, use the whole facility. So if it's a racket club, why not try both sports? And basically most of the clubs here are going to be racket clubs now, not just tennis only. I mean, probably none.
I think that Brookhaven Racket Club was named that when Billy got there, I think in '91, and then T-Bar did T-Bar Racket Club when Mr. Agatelli bought it. So it's kind of cool how they kept that all encompassing,
Right.
So speaking of that, that's really cool. So I'll say this because I know personally, I believe that tennis, pickleball, and any can work synonymous. I really believe any racquetball, padel, anything can all work to make you a better tennis player. I think they all work for certain areas of the court. I believe that you learn soft touch angles in pickleball that you can equate to the tennis court if you're playing somebody that's aggressive to angle the ball off.
No, so I have a 4 or 5 lady who's started playing more pickleball. and she has a much better offensive forehand drop shot in tennis from pickleball.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So also for some of our players who struggle with the grip and using too much of the forehand grip, pickleball, a lot more continental and volleys at the net. So for players looking for practice on getting their grips over, pickleball will make you faster, and pickleball will help you get that grip over. So the people that think it's going to mess your tennis up, I haven't seen it.
Just give it a try.
Haven't seen it, and it it helps with the grips, and there's too many people in the area that are playing both all the time.
Yeah.
They're different, but they're not that different, and each can help the other.
You know who I talked to yesterday?
Who's that?
Chris Kelly.
All right.
Chris Kelly is one of the top 50 and above players in Dallas here. He's going to come on the show. Carlos is coming on next.
Yes, I mean, at Stonebriar, Chris and Carlos, they've embraced it at Stonebriar.
Yeah.
Right from a very early time. So it's like I said, it's growing. If you haven't tried it, try it once. You'll probably be hooked.
So, all right. So, what brand do you use? Does it depend on the day? I know I like certain different paddles. I'd like to give you a quick example. We got David De La Rosa. Excuse me, Daniel De La Rosa. Sorry, Danny. De La Rosa's paddle right here with Vulcan. He was on a couple weeks ago. He's a really good guy. And then I also use the Texas one. You got Diadem right there at Spring Park,
yes.
right? You see that? Corbin, I know you're watching, buddy. Lucia, I hope you know you're watching too. Those are all really different.
So and still Wilson, just from all of my tennis days with Wilson.
Oh, I know. I'm still with him.
It's like because from Wilson Tennis there, and I know there's some of the pickleball people don't care for some of the racket ones, but the main thing is with the paddles is you try them, like even that Diadem Hero paddle.
Yeah.
If you're just starting, at least it has the felt. We made the mistakes when we first had our mixer. I just went out and got wooden paddles.
Yeah, I mean, I got the shop
and we tried those and going, these are terrible. You wouldn't put tennis players in tennis rackets, but you can get an inexpensive paddle for $40 to start with. That's going to give you a shot to get some spin.
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily go buy the Warrior Edge or the $200 paddle, but don't go out there with a Walmart paddle. You're not giving yourself a fair
you pay
shake
for what you get, right?
To get there.
But it's funny because I believe those Wilson paddles are good, just recreational with their price point, and I still use those, but I primarily use the Diadem and now the Vulcan. But they're all different. I didn't think I'd feel a difference. This paddle right here, this thing gives. It's really giving.
No, and I think good. The more you play, and like I said, like my brother-in-law is Selkirk.
Yeah.
My son is Selkirk.
Okay.
Right? So they're big, So, the great thing is, and there's probably too many paddle brands. I think there's a couple hundred, and they'll start to come down too. So there's enough out there. And like I said, just like a tennis racket, whatever we say, go get a demo and try it. One's going to feel better than the other.
It's true.
But just don't go out there with a wooden paddle.
No.
Don't do it.
Because we'll probably make fun of you. So next thing is seriously, now I've got of all your endeavors thus far with pickleball, and how long have you been doing that now? For 2 years? A year, 2 years?
Pickleball. So we had so Dom Greco came and certified me going to. So we've done it with mixers, and like I said, I've been kind of afraid to embrace as much as I should because of the tennis time. But now we see the room, and I have a better feel for the facility of when we can have pickleball and when tennis needs to take over. But there's still plenty of room for pickleball to come. And when it's busy, on a court we can have 8 people playing pickleball, where you can only have 4 people playing tennis. So on some of these busy times, and noise was a real concern. But we're located off of Jupiter, and the noise isn't as big a problem as people make it. Now, I do think, like I said, for the pickleball manufacturers out there, making your paddles more silent and the balls more silent is only going to help your game grow. Wow. Because there are times when you don't want it, but it's not near the concern I think that most of us tennis people thought it was. Yeah. At the beginning. The biggest thing I was worried about was just knowing the rules, because there's so damn many of them, and they change, and that's fine. But and if I don't know it, obviously we always bounce questions off each other. But the 0-0-2 during the first service says, okay, so I'm the first server. So what's the score? 0-0-2.
I'm gonna really fuck with your mind.
Right. So we're going with 0-0 start now because that's right when you lose people. As soon as you say 0-0-2, but I'm server 1, just play.
Oh, you're talking about when you start a match.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But that's it's like why am
you
I
say
0-0
start 2? Say it real fast.
But when people play, and that's why I would tell people, I said, if the first hour you play is come do a mix or a play because you get concerned.
Yeah.
I can't move in the no volley zone or the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And for the tennis players, it's the bounce. They serve and they start drifting and they hit out of the air.
Yeah.
But you just have to play.
Yeah.
And most of the people are very tolerant. The people that love pickleball, they want to evangelize you. So don't be intimidated. Just like tennis, everyone's good. I can't play. You're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not very good, you can go. And the games are quick enough that you can move around. So it is so much better in a social situation. And like I said, we'll start doing more corporate things and going. You can have 20 or 30 people out, and people can find.
So your current focus right now is growing the pickleball at Spring Park, which is awesome, and implementing some new type of mixers. And you said corporate. What's that for?
So, well, like I said, on Friday afternoons, we'll try to have businesses come out and go.
Oh,
and said we're doing leagues, and the mixed TCD, we have a team and do it too. It's still the travel makes it difficult. On Friday nights, our people like pickleball, but to drive out to Vaquero or even Oasis on Friday night, that is tough. So that is something that deal with is going. Okay, we want to do more. But we kind of need to do it on our terms with our people and really almost have enough to do it internal that I'm not against. But travel's a concern. Yeah. So it's just, but you know what? Hey, it's a good problem. It's something that will be worked out.
Yeah, well,
enough people going too. So it's like, hey, it's a good problem to have to figure out. Yeah. What is best for each facility on what to do and how to make it.
Yes. Go. So. Let's move on to the next thing. I want everybody to know about your, we'll call him infamous brother-in-law. What's his name again? Adam Kraft. And his wife's Erin Kraft Nolan. Tell us about your family, your kids, what you're doing, what's going on with that.
Right. So my wife Erin, she's a good tennis player.
Yeah,
she does admin for the Dallas Tennis Association, which is really right up the street here in Addison.
Yes.
My oldest Kyle is 21. She's a junior at Blinn. She played 2 years of soccer at Northwestern State. She's transferred. She's hoping to go to A&M. In spring of 2023.
She gonna play soccer there?
Not gonna play soccer.
Okay, well she did. You know what? She gave it a whirl there.
Right. So she wants to go into physical therapy. My son Connor, he's a senior at Pierce. He's looking at 9 different schools right now.
What's he gonna do? Is he gonna play anything or no? That's all right. Go be.
No, he can go play some pickleball front. Yeah,
play some club tennis
pickleball, club tennis. But he's trying to decide. He wants to major in engineering, so he's looking at a lot of different schools. And then my youngest, Caitlin, is at North. She's in middle school, and
is she in 8th grade too?
She's 8th grade, and she plays select soccer.
She's pretty good, huh?
Renegades. She likes it. She's not sure what she wants to do. She's a handful, but she's great.
She's your third kid, man.
She's the revenge one. She's a lot of fun, but she's going to keep us on our toes for sure.
My brother and sister-in-law have 3 daughters, and their Mila is hell on wheels. She's their third one.
Right.
Anyway, I guess we'll get the fun stuff here. So. What's your favorite band right now?
God,
I've been listening to a band called White Buffalo. I'm cutting you off because I want to give you some ideas.
All right.
It's an Americana band, and I hate to cut you off. White Buffalo, we listened to it at my brother's house for music night about a week ago. They're really, really good. And that's kind of what I'm at right now, a little Americana.
Yeah, if I pulled my Spotify out right now, I could have a little bit of everything, between some 80s speed metal, heavy metal, some new wave, but the new stuff, like I said, is the Greta Van Fleet, which sounds exactly like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
probably but here it is, like but I'm listening to some of that and got a lot of stand-up comedy.
Yes. I'm like addicted to podcasts. The only problem, they're all murder shows.
Right. So
which one you listen to? Comedy shows.
The Shane Gillis live in Austin. I mean that's a lot of.
I like this. Like to listen to comedy. Okay, Shane. Okay.
Right.
Then I would say favorite movie. I'll tell you what mine is right now. My favorite movie is The Gray Man. I want to see that. I'm gonna check that one out again. I skimmed through it, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, and see the movies. This is gonna be like my Spotify list. Way too many '80s stuff.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
All the stuff too. But like favorites, Caddyshack.
Oh yeah.
But across the spectrum, here at Stanley Kubrick, A Clockwork Orange.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're talking, way different.
Yes.
But like I said, now with the series and the shows, like almost any of these Netflix documentaries, like there's
Yes.
a new one out, talking about all the Wall Street Brets with the GameStop, which is interesting.
Oh wow.
But like probably favorite all-time show, if you've never watched The Wire,
I've never watched that.
then you're missing out.
I know. I remember they used to talk about that on Ticket all the time. Bob and Dan, and that was back when I was entrenched.
But The Wire is
oh wow.
yes, the writing on that, and it's a little rough, but it's drugs in Baltimore. But each season kind of has a different arc and different focus, and just great acting.
So wow, The Wire.
So The Wire, and
We've been watching.
So you got 55. I think it's 55 episodes. You got 5 or 6 seasons, Curtis, in front of you.
It's not good for ADHD. But so I've been watching J.R.R. Tolkien Power of the Rings, which is bad ass.
I know, and I see how much Amazon has spent on that, so I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's paying off, man. I got to tell you.
Just like the new Avatar. When the new Avatar comes out,
that.
I'm like, hey, I have to go because it's just gonna be visually stunning.
What's your favorite sports team?
All my Dallas teams.
All your Dallas
So Cowboys fan, which is always doesn't end up.
Are you from Dallas? I forgot.
Yeah, so I've been in Dallas since 1976.
Oh wow.
So Cowboys, Mavericks, Stars.
There you go.
But the different sports for soccer, Arsenal.
Yeah.
And they're having a good year. And I'm telling you, and this is like where. The TV and the coverage is, F1. Like I'm a big F1 fan now.
How the hell do you watch cars going 70 miles an hour?
But only from the show. So if you would have told me I was ever going to watch auto race, and that's why some of the people say, well, I'm never going to play pickleball. Well, I never would have said I was going to watch auto racing. But when I watched the F1 Drive to Netflix show, you get into it, you start to know the people. And one thing that the F1 has, like the soccer has, is a time. And listen, I'm a tennis guy, but for TV, with Federer and Serena retiring and how long the matches take, the official, hey, you love it if you're a big tennis person, but if you're not, you're like, how long is this going to take? Wow. The whole thing is people want stuff quicker, and that is one thing with pickleball. It's quicker. Wow. It goes. People's attention spans are shorter. Yeah. And people like to learn something quicker. So like I said, it's not going away, but anything that it's shorter length, quicker, that's not a negative.
Steve Nolan. Man, you're not going to bill me for today, are you? You're not going to bill me, are you? You gave me some good nuggets, man.
But you look at baseball. Yeah. Baseball's not growing. Yeah. Part of it's the time, but give baseball credit. They're trying to shorten the games. And even with tennis, I mean, we'll have no ad scoring eventually. People hated the third set tiebreaker. The third set tiebreaker is there. So I'm not the pro going to, but I think like in TC and stuff too, no ads day is coming, or the second deuce, no ad.
Oh, I think it was my senior year. They cut the points down to 1 for singles and half point for doubles, and then you had to play lets, and also they stopped doing third set tie breaks. God.
Well, but they'll play the lets. I mean, that's still
that was tough.
That's the best way to cheat though on a no ad on a big serve. Oh, that's Curtis, that's a let.
Yeah, we're playing a doubles match. Hey man, dink that thing over the net. Just get in, okay, please. Well, Steve, you think you might want to come back on at some point in time?
Yeah, no, it'd be great.
So if any of our listeners that live in that Spring Park area are already pros or that want to try something with you, which he's a great guy to work for. He really is. Steve is. You got a nice staff over there. We've done some mixers together, but how would they get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, listen, just call or text 469-371-1644 or email snolen1972@gmail.com.
That is Steve Nolan, the great Steve Nolan. It's been on the landscape forever here with me now. And that's it for us. Just remember, all you people out there that are listening to this, find a mood, find a show. We've got them all over our app and our vocal family here. And with that, see somebody waiting, just kind of thinking about playing pickleball, just say, come on, let's go pickle. That's it, man. Take care. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Curtis.
See you, Steve-O.